Hello, everyone. Welcome back once again. I am Nicodemus Kane. Today is July the 21st of 2022, or at least that's what they tell us. Whatever. Um, Today we're going to read Isaiah 18. I think I'm going to jump right into it. I don't have much else to say. I have some things I have to process in my head about stuff that some videos that I watched yesterday, some things that I looked at yesterday. I have some things to process. Nothing that's going to shatter my world illusions or anything. I just some things I have to process. Just some different things. But let's go ahead and jump into this, and we'll see if we can find anything interesting. Let's see if we can find what God needs us to hear today. Isaiah chapter 18. Woe to the land shadowing with wings, which is beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, that sendeth ambassadors by the sea, even in vessels of bulrushes upon the waters, saying, Go, ye swift messengers, to a nation scattered and peeled, to a people terrible from their beginning hitherto, a nation meted out, a nation meted out and trodden down, whose land and rivers have spoiled. Now I'm going to stop there so that we can talk about this for a second. Woe to the land shadowing with wings, buzzing, whirling locusts, shadowing with wings, which is beyond the rivers of Ethiopia. That sendeth ambassadors by the sea, even in vessels of bulrushes, upon the waters, saying, Go, ye swift messengers, to a nation scattered and peeled, to a people terrible from their beginning hitherto. I wonder what land they could be talking about. Whose the nation meted out and trodden down, whose land and rivers have spoiled. There's something in that. Let's keep going though. Verse 3, All ye inhabitants of the world and dwellers on the earth, see ye, when he lifted up an ensign on the mountains, and when he bloweth a trumpet, hear ye. Is this like the final trumpets, perhaps? For so the Lord said unto me, I will take my rest, and I will consider in my dwelling place like a clear heat upon herbs, and like a cloud of dew in the heat of harvest. For the harvest, when the bud is perfect, and the sour grape is ripening in the flower, he shall both cut off the sprigs with pruning hooks, and take away and cut down the branches. This is another. They were talking about, it's on the other page, as a matter of fact. And gladness is taken away, and joy out of the plentiful field and in the vineyards. There shall be no singing, there shall be no shouting and treading. They were talking about, as if it were a vineyard, he will make it all wither away. For the harvest, when the bud is perfect and the sour grape is ripening in the flower, he shall both cut off the sprigs with pruning hooks, and take away and cut down the branches. They shall be left together unto the fowls of the mountains, and to the beasts of the earth, and the fowls shall summer upon them, and all the beasts of the earth shall winter upon them. So again, there's that. It's that comparison to completely getting rid of a nation as if you were cutting down grapevines. There's something to that. I'm sure. Right now, I'm not thinking about it. Right now, I've got a lot of other stuff in my mind. But let's keep going. Verse 7. In that time shall the present be brought unto the Lord of hosts of a people scattered and peeled, and from a people terrible from their beginning hitherto, a nation meted out and trodden underfoot, whose land the rivers have spoiled, to the place of the name of the Lord of hosts, the Mount Zion. That time shall the present be brought. Shall the present be brought unto the Lord of hosts of a people scattered and peeled. In that time shall the gift be brought unto the Lord of hosts of a people scattered and peeled. So, of course, he was talking about woe to those people. Woe to the land that is shadowing, that is whirring, buzzing with wings. Buzzing with wings. Whirring with wings. It's like a locust or a cricket. I'll go back to that. Whirring of wings, concretely a cricket, as an harpoon, as rattling. Also a harpoon is rattling, a cymbal is clanging. Cymbal, locust, shadowing. Spear. Woe to the land, shadowing with wings, which is beyond the rivers of Ethiopia. Now again, we can't say for 100% that the Ethiopia in the Bible is the same Ethiopia that we know now. A lot of people want to point to it and say, well, yes, it is. There it is right there. And that the Ethiopians, they know exactly what they're talking about. They do this, they do that. But we don't know for certain. Because you have to remember, all of our history has been completely changed. Could it be? Yes, it very well could be the Ethiopia that we know. But I'm going to say no. I'm going to say that there's something else going on there. But that's just me. See, that's what we have to do our due diligence whenever we go through these things. That's why we have to take whole days to be able to meditate on these things, to be able to study these things. And it gets harder and harder to study these things, especially when we have to work as much as we do just to be able to survive. Now, again, I am fortunate enough to be able to have my laptop playing and I can listen to videos while I work, which is part of the reason why I was able to even do half the things I've done for the past 5 years, 6, 7 years. But could you imagine how much more we could do? How much more we could understand and learn if we didn't have all of this junk in front of us to be able to distract us, to be able to take away our time. How much more we could learn. But, of course, they've hidden so much from us now that A lot of it we just don't know. That's why so many of us now are just trying to pick up pieces. And half the pieces that people out there that I listen to and I read, half the time these people are picking up the wrong pieces. Or they're picking up pieces that in the end they don't make sense. And I'm just kind of stuck in the background like, wait, I'm reading one thing here, and yet these guys over here are saying something completely opposite of what I've read over here. So which one's right? Because supposedly these guys read the same thing I read, and it doesn't make any sense. Which is kind of part of the thing that I got going right now, is that I'm going to have to really meditate on what I learned yesterday and understood, and I'm having to kind of go through. And again, it's not earth-shattering stuff. It's one of those types of things where it's like you have to find your way through it. You have to find out what the truth is, and sometimes that is so hard to find out. But there's a lot going on in just these 7 verses. That sendeth ambassadors by the sea, even in vessels of bulrushes, upon the waters. It's a land beyond Ethiopia that has ships. Saying, Go, ye swift messengers, to a nation scattered and peeled, to a people terrible, from their beginning hitherto, a nation meted out and trodden down, whose lands the rivers have spoiled. Now, when you put that together with the last verse, in that time shall the present be brought unto the Lord of hosts, of a people scattered and peeled, and from a people terrible from their beginning hitherto, a nation meted out and trodden underfoot, whose lands the rivers have spoiled, to the place of the name of the Lord. So these people, in a place that was bad from their beginning till now, they will present their present to the Lord in the end. A place whose lands the rivers have spoiled. And this just absolutely means rivers. Could very well be Egypt. Which I think it would have to be, because even in vessels of bulrushes, even bulrushes are papyrus of reeds. Now, Egyptians made reed boats, ambassadors of the sea. Now, believe it or not, some people still don't seem to understand this. The Egyptians had a sailing fleet. They had massive amounts of ships. It's one of the things that the historians like to keep from people, is that they had entire fleets of ships, huge ships. One of the things that I've said over and over again, maybe not on video, I don't know, but one of the things I've said over and over again is that Egypt was able to sail these big boats. More than likely, they sailed them around the world. They went everywhere. Because these were big, huge ships that these guys were sailing. You cannot tell me that they couldn't sail these big, huge ships. They could not store enough food on these ships in order to be able to sail wherever they wanted to. And there's evidence of this. You've got pyramids just about everywhere. You've got obelisks just about everywhere. You have this grand world nation of all these people that all have Egyptian ties in some way, shape, or form. So you can't tell me that the Egyptian Empire was not close to being worldwide. I mean, it was pretty big. You have the stories of the granaries in America that were found, that massive, huge granaries that some of them still had food in them, that they were stored up. And the reason that they said that they found these granaries, and there's a story that came with them, was that the people that lived there knew that there was a massive famine coming, that there was one man who came out of someplace. I don't remember the exact language of the story. I just remember the story itself. There was one man that came out of the poor people, came out of the slave class, or whatever you want to call it, that knew that there was going to be a famine, a great famine, a famine that lasted for at least 7 years, if not longer. And he told the Pharaoh at the time that they needed to store up food because there was a great famine coming. And whoever this man was, he was put in a very high place. Now, this whole story is extremely similar to Joseph, where he came in and he interpreted the Pharaoh's dreams and told him, you're gonna have X amount of years of famine. You need to start storing up food. And they stored up food, and the Egyptians were the only people that made it through the famine. Everybody else, they were like selling everything that they had in order just to be able to eat. That's how the Egyptians were able to buy up all the land. Could that very well have been a worldwide famine? Because this was in America. This was, if I remember right, it was either New Mexico or Colorado. I do not remember. And it's been so long since I've heard that video and listened to that story. But it's one of those tales that they had. One of those old legends that they had about these, that they found these big, huge granaries. They still had, like I said, grain in the bottoms of these things. And that was what the story was that, I don't think they called it Egypt necessarily, and I don't think they called them pharaohs, but they were saying there was a man who knew that there was a famine that was coming, and he told the higher ups at the time to be ready. And then after the fact, he was put in a place of power, put in a position of power. I wish I could remember where that was. Man, that was like a year. No. That was like 2019. That was back before everything went to crap. Because I was really getting a lot of information back in 2019. It was like everything was starting to come to light. It was just, and I've said that before, it's like 2019 just seemed like it was the year of understanding, the year where everybody was getting information, just more and more and more information. And it was like both YouTube and BitChute were, well, YouTube really, because BitChute was kind of garbage back in the day, back in 2019. It took them the pandemic to be able to really get their stuff together. But YouTube still had the ability to feed you through suggestions, what video was coming next, and based upon the homepage, it still was able to feed you through suggestions good videos. It may not have been the best videos, but it was enough that you could go to the next one, go to the next one, go to the next one. And there was so much that was happening then. But that was part of it. That was whenever I was getting into the American legends, the Native American legends, the Amaru, hearing about the red-headed giants, hearing about the caves in the Grand Canyon, the pyramids of Illinois, the Hebrew artifacts and Hebrew mounds of the Northeast. All these things. And I kept hearing these stories over and over. And some of them don't have to be true, and some of them do. And I have, we bought several books from that time that were, Native American legends and stories and stuff. And, I was getting into, researching about the flood that they had, that they, it was a guy that I cannot remember the name that they said it was, but he built a ship, a big square ship, and he put all the animals on it. And it was him and his wife and his sons and his daughters, or his oh God, what was it? It was his 3 sons and his sons' wives and him and his wife. So it was 8 people total. I think there's a couple legends that say there were 6. There's a couple legends that say there were 12. But it, talking about that kind of stuff. And then they talk about the, whenever they went into hiding, whenever the Native Americans went into hiding, because there were these ant people that came out of the ground that told them that they needed to, hide because there was a massive Armageddon coming. So they hid in these caves with these ant people, and the ant people made them slaves. And one day they got away, and when they came, after generations of being trapped inside of these caves, they came out and they found all these cities. The Native Americans say that all these pyramids, all these cities, all these mounds, everything, they said they were there. The stories I heard, the people that, when they talk about, coming out of these caves, supposedly, they say that all this stuff was here, that they just moved into it. Like, there was something before them, and that's, they talk about the flood, and they talk about, how all this stuff happened. They had to be brought down into these caves because supposedly the world was consumed by fire, which tracks along with some of the Tartaria stuff, because you have all these buildings that people are finding that are melted. They're melted stone. It kind of tracks along. It's a very weird, it's a very weird rabbit hole to kind of go down. But that tracks together with, again, Egypt was able to sail everywhere. Both ways. If you want to say that they started in Africa, the northern tip of Africa, and then spread across the world from there, yes, that tracks. If you want to say that America is Egypt, which, again, a lot of the things that they talk about with America being Egypt tracks right along with it, that they were able to, go anywhere they wanted to. The rivers, we talked about the tributaries of the rivers that feed into the Mississippi River. The fact that 6 of the 8 rivers, is that what it was? I can't remember now. All converge on a city called Cairo Illinois, Cairo, and there's pyramids in Illinois. There's pyramids in Illinois. There's a pyramid in Illinois that has a base that's as big as the Great Pyramid in Egypt. I'm just saying, that's a thing. The Grand Canyon itself could be a city, an Egyptian city, because each one of the points, the high points of the Grand Canyon, is named after Egyptian cities, after Egyptian gods. What does that mean? There's something there. The Colorado River itself, which dried up, could very well be a tributary of rivers. It's a river system. You don't know. There used to be a lake in California. They used to split the entire state in half. That's gone too. All the water's gone. What's going on there? What's really happening out there? It's again one of those things that when you start putting all this stuff together and start understanding what it means, what it could possibly mean, you have to rewrite everything you know. And that's why I blank slated. That's why I stopped and said, I can't believe my own history anymore, because everything is different. Everything doesn't make sense. Everything kind of tracks in this different way. And you still have people. I wish I could remember these YouTube channels, because they're just not there anymore. You know, within the past 2 years, they have blanked out so many channels. And they're just gone. It's like they're not there anymore. And it's so hard to figure out what's what. But I wish I could remember these. I get onto these channels. A lot of them haven't even posted in forever either. A lot of them, like, as soon as the nonsense started, they just stopped making videos. I don't know if it's because they just disappeared or what. But then again, a lot of these channels just disappeared, and they were just little tiny channels. There was one that I'm looking through my subscription list right now on YouTube. There was one. It was one guy that was going around and started with an M, I think. And what he was doing was he was talking to people, mostly about giants, going out talking to the elders in these reservations, talking to people that actually would want to talk. You know, because a lot of people just don't want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about their history. They don't want to talk about the past. But some of them will come out and talk about it. He was talking to just Joe Schmoes, you know, just out in like a restaurant or something. Just kind of talking to them about, you know, things that they had seen. There was a couple guys where, is this one? No, it's not that one. Oh, maybe it is. I don't know. No, it is not that one. I'm still looking. I'm still trying to find this. I'm still trying to find this thing. Even though I should probably listen to these too. This would probably be pretty good as well. But still talking to just, you know, people that know people that know people. The one I remember, he had a guy that he was interviewing in a restaurant where this guy was talking about this group of redheaded giants. They were out camping or something, or they were, you know, trying to fix something. And they were talking about being accosted by some red-headed giants that came out of the mountains. Came in, were shaking their tents, were you know throwing their gear everywhere. There was another one where it was a woman who was a granddaughter of her great granddaughter of one of the chief elders out in the west. I cannot remember what tribe it was. It's a long time ago. Remember, but she was saying she told the story, and that was the first time I ever heard the story of the cave of the red-headed giants, where they had it was the old legend where they had the red-headed giants that would come out, and they were constantly hurting this tribe of Indians, eating these people. That's what they were doing. They were cannibals. And eventually the Native Americans rose up and forced them back into their cave, and they were telling them, if you don't come out, we're going to set fire to the cave and we're going to kill you all. But they wouldn't come out. So they set fire to the cave, and apparently all these giants that were in it got smoked out and killed. And this guy not only talked to her, but he went out to the cave itself. And he was taking videos of the cave, and you could still see the black soot on the top of the cave where the fires were burned. And, he was trying to dig down, but he couldn't dig down into this because apparently the dirt had hardened so much or something. I don't remember exactly what it was. And but it was one of those things. It was, that was what I was getting into in 2019. Right before. I mean, almost dead smack right before. And then from there, I was like, everything was COVID. That's all everybody talked about. So all that got lost. So I don't know. But it's one of those things. It's like I said, that was about the same time whenever I started talking about the land bridges. If you remove even 300 feet of water from the world, you will start finding land bridges that will connect everything. But it doesn't matter because you've got these cultures that had these boats. Everybody had boats. I still refuse to believe that everybody was just sitting around for thousands and thousands of years. According to the actual storyline, people sat around for 10,000 years and decided to not go out on the water because they were afraid of sea monsters. That within itself is a story. They were afraid of sea monsters. So where's the sea monsters? When you listen to the official story now, it sounds so ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. It's like if they were afraid of sea monsters, they were apparently seeing something that they were so afraid to not go past that point. And I'm sorry, but I've seen and heard too many stories of guys that will build ships just to catch monsters. Human beings are not the kind of people that will just sit on their hands and do nothing. If there's something out there that, is interesting enough to go get, boy, humans will go get it. They will drop everything and they will create anything they can in order to be able to, kill something just for the sake of killing something. So I don't know. It is what it is. I don't believe it for a second that people just sat around for 10,000 years, decided, you know what, we're just gonna stay where we are. We're not gonna move around. We're not gonna do anything. The only people that ever decided that they were going to move around and do anything were the warlike assholes that wanted to take over more land, and most of them failed because, you know, once you get so much land, it all falls apart, slowly falls apart. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. I don't know. Like I said, there was a lot. There was a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff going on back then, and don't fall for the nonsense of them saying that Egyptians couldn't sail the seas. They absolutely could. You see those ships, and you know they could. They went everywhere. They went everywhere. And I think that was part of the reason why you see so many, you hear these stories and you see all these things. But then again, you know, trying to get the normies to believe even half of that it's kind of hard. So anyways, I'm gonna knock it off there. I've got, again, my brain is not in the right place today. I've got other things going on that I'm thinking about. I got to get done. It is a Thursday. I got to focus on work because I am going so slow at work. My work has just become bleh. So I got to focus on work. Among other things. Among other things. All right, you guys take it easy. God bless every one of you. Take care of yourselves. Hopefully we can all find the truth to what's going on here, because there is so much now that you know, it's amazing. Just one last final thought. It's amazing how much new information is coming out about things. You know, ideas, concepts, things that we did not know at one point in time, that we're starting to understand, that we're starting to finally put the pieces together, because we know there's a lie. We know that there was a lie from the very beginning. We know that they have fed us so much garbage in order to keep us from learning any sort of truth whatsoever. But now there's so much coming out that we are able to understand and learn about. And it may not be 100% truth, but it's enough that we can start truly questioning the narrative. At the same time, those that are ruling over this world are giving you a scenario every day, a new false scenario every. I mean, they're. I don't know how the normies do it. I don't know how they just blank slate their way through this whole thing. You know, sooner or later you gotta wake up. Sooner or later you gotta stop and ask yourself, why is it constantly happening over and over and over and over and over? Why is it constantly? Why can't you just stop and just admit to yourself that maybe this is all part of some bigger plan, you know? But they won't. They'll look at it and say, oh, well, today something happened. Well, yesterday something else happened. And, the next day comes, it's like, oh, wow, something big happened today, too. It's like, when are you going to get it through your head that there's something going on here? There's something insane, and everything has something tied to it in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's some kind of a crisis thing, or some kind of a planned event, whether it could be some kind of situation that, oh, well, such and such made this ruling, made this thing exactly, 2 months before this happened, I'm trying to think of what the perfect example was. When I woke up, I don't know why I was thinking about it. It was something. I can't think of it now. Shoot. But it was something along the lines of oh, yeah, that's what it was. Some kind of stupid thing. Is Biden seriously going to sell our oil reserves to China? Really? Something like that. And it was the thought that was in my head that I've told several people about. I said, he shut down the pipeline. That we had the pipeline that, came from Alaska or wherever the hell it came from, that was feeding us oil. We had pretty good oil. He shut that down. And then it wasn't even like 6 months later, you supposedly had a war in the Ukraine, and then gas prices shot up. It's like, no, we wouldn't have. It's not the Ukraine's fault. It's not Russia's fault. We would have plenty of oil and gas if he hadn't shut down the pipeline first. But people don't want to hear that. Oh no, it's not that. He had to shut that down to save the environment. We had to save the environment first. Actually, what I heard was when they shut it down and they were dismantling it, because apparently they dismantled it, that it wound up leaking or something, and it wound up ruining the environment anyway. So whatever. It's just one of those things. And then, of course, they push the shit out of climate change. And even though last year was a great mild year, it was pretty mild. It was not like, super hot. We had some hot days, but it was not like massively super hot worldwide. It was pretty mild. Even though it was pretty mild last year, they start bringing up climate change, less than a month ago? And then suddenly out of the blue, it's like hot as hell everywhere. Oh no, the world's going to end because people can't seem to understand that temperatures change. I'm sorry, but this isn't even the hottest day that you ever had. That was 10 years ago, 17 years ago, whatever it was. Because they have recordings of newscasters 17 years ago talking about the same exact temperatures that they had yesterday. It's like, come on, man. People are stupid. It gets hot in July. You know why? It's summer. It's a summertime. It gets hot. What do you want? You don't plant trees inside of your cities. Your cities are going to bake and burn. What do you expect? That's why Main Street used to have. That's why Main Streets, all Main Streets back in the day used to have trees. That's why they used to plant trees down the roads, so that the cities would not bake. But of course, being the idiots that they are, they went through and they tore out all the trees so that they could make more room for the cars. Now they cut down those lanes for the cars for bikes, and people don't ride bikes. So now you're stuck twice as bad because you have all these bike lanes and these, really small lanes for cars that create bottlenecks that, create traffic jams that create even worse pollution. But hey, you wanted to take out the trees, whatever, I don't care. I gotta stop. But you can see the method. You can see the nonsense. You can see how it works. It's not like it's, oh hey, we screwed up here. We probably shouldn't have done that. Nobody ever admits that. No, it's always, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, and damn any consequences that we had. That's almost exactly what they're saying now. That's what the dude with the 5G tower said. Damn the results. Damn the scientific facts. We have to do this now. That's what they're doing now. They don't even care anymore. They don't even care. They're trying to kill you. They don't care. They don't give a shit. They don't care at all. They're trying to kill you. It's the people that... somebody said it yesterday that it's amazing how the people that you don't want to listen to because you think they're conspiracy theorists are the people that care about you more than your own government cares about you. Because, yes, your own government thinks that depopulation is a good idea. And when your own government backs people that think that depopulation is a good idea, that means they don't want you around. They don't want you living. They don't want you living. That means that if you die, they're okay with that. These people don't care about you. They don't love you. They don't want you to survive and thrive and all this stuff. They have proven that. They have shown that time and time again for the last 2 years. And yet you people still enjoy your Stockholm Syndrome. You love your Stockholm Syndrome. You're just... Every second that you can stay there worshiping your masters, you're loving it. It's so great. Oh, govern me harder, Daddy. Govern me harder. They've shown it time and time and time again, and you people still, not the people that not the people that have come around here before, but the normies still think that they can go out to the voting booth and we can make a difference. We have to make a difference. We have to make a difference or the bad guys are going to win. Sorry, kids, but the bad guys already won. Bad guys already won, and you bagged them. And it's somebody was saying it yesterday. I found it's a woman in Indianapolis. She lives less than 30 minutes away from me, as a matter of fact. She has a business. It's very easy to look up the business. Well, she did. She said she doesn't have a business anymore because they shut it down, or she had to shut it down because of the nonsense. But anyways, she's in Indianapolis, and she's a truther, which is awesome. I'm glad to know there's more people out there than just me. But anyways, she was saying anyone that's had anything to do that actually followed the rules, you were the ones that have killed us. You were the ones that destroyed your own nation. You were the ones that destroyed all of us. If you keep going along with it, you're the problem. You're not helping anything. You're hurting us. You destroyed us. You destroyed this country. And That's 100%. I'm all over that. That's the truth. If you wore the mask, if you got the shot, if you listened to anything they wanted you to do, and now it's going to be if you give up every freedom for climate change, you're the one. You're the one that's going to kill everything. Enjoy your carbon tax. Some people don't even know what a carbon tax is. Just wait, it's coming. You're going to find out real quick what a carbon tax is. Carbon tax is a tax. It is money that you have to pay just to live. It's not about driving a car. It's carbon tax. You are a carbon-based life form. Well, they're putting masks on cows now. I'm sorry. It's a complete random transition. The news article I read said that they are putting masks, a certain type of masks, on cows in order to keep the cows from burping methane. Because apparently there's too many cows that are burping and farting, putting methane into the air, and that's what's causing climate change. Now, the last time I checked, there were 7 billion people in the world. There are not 7 billion cows in the world. There is not one cow per person. I would say there's probably considerably less than that. Probably half as much. But if the cows are causing it by farting and by burping, what do you think's going to happen whenever they find out there's more humans than cows? They're going to come after you. You're going to be the one having to wear them. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. You're already wearing the muzzle. Never mind. You're already wearing the mask so that you don't have to breathe out carbon dioxide. It's okay. That's going to be next. Wear your mask so that you don't breathe out carbon dioxide, so that you can save the planet. Ooh, that's the next thing. That's what it's going to be. Wear your mask for climate change. I'm not kidding. You're going to see them climate lockdowns. You're definitely going to see climate lockdowns because you're going to wind up getting these stupid planned rolling blackouts. Planned rolling blackouts. Yeah, there is an energy crisis, absolutely, and it is because they are taking away real sources of power. We have found over the past 30, 40, 50 years, solar power is good to a point. It doesn't, you have to flood the world with solar panels in order to be able to get that much energy. That's just the truth. That's why they have these big ass solar farms. That's why people fight against them, because apparently they're toxic. I don't know. What I do know is we shouldn't be giving up farms where we can produce food in order to produce solar farms for electricity. There are so many other places where we can put solar panels up that you should not be getting rid of food farms. I'm sorry, that's not, I've seen enough places in cities, parking lots, where they've torn down big buildings. Thankfully, there's a couple places, Muncie, Indiana. They tore down the GM factory. It was the biggest factory in the entire city. Took up 3 blocks. Three blocks. It was like 6 square blocks total. But they tore it down, and it was just a big, huge, empty lot. They couldn't do anything with it because of all the toxic chemicals that they used for all the, machinery and stuff, the transmissions. And I was there. I worked in the pit. That's what they called it, where it was this big, huge vat. It was an acid vat where they would dip these parts. You know, it was a big, huge revolving hook thing, and it would come around. You'd have to take the one off and then put the other one on, and it would have to go through this acid bath, and just completely ruined everything. You can't do anything with that land now. And but thankfully, somebody got smart and said, "Hey, let's put some solar panels on it." I was like, "Psh, why didn't you guys think about this before?" That was easy. That was easy work. Put some solar panels on it. It's like 6 square blocks of nothing. It's toxic. You can't do anything with the land. So put some more toxic nonsense on it. Why not? Go for it. Have fun. But no, they don't want to do that. They want to take up farmland. You go down the back roads of Indiana, and you constantly see these signs that say, vote no on some whatever proposition, or vote against solar panel farms. And you're asking yourself, what does that mean? And when you look into it, you find out it's because what they want to do is they want to buy up actual farmland that produces food. They want to take it, and then they want to put solar panels all over it. Or, they want to buy up land for cows or whatever, pastures. But it's just weird to be going down the street and, you see these signs that say no to solar panels. And you're like, but wait, aren't solar panels supposed to be good? But then you really look into it, it's like, oh no, wait, that's right. They're not as good as everybody says they are. They're, that's why you see this stuff. But we know that solar panels aren't that good. We know that wind turbines are terrible. They're noisy. I've been around wind turbines before. They are noisy. They're noisy. They create weird wind gusts, and they explode. They catch fire a lot. I've actually seen it in person. I've seen a wind turbine that was on fire, smoking. And, it's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. People say, oh, no, you can get as much wind, and wind energy is so great. It's so awesome. I've been past wind farms, and no, they're not. Usually whenever you go past them, there's only 1 or 2 turbines out of like 30 that are actually going. They actually have to turn them on, and they're noisy as all get out, and just these weird wind currents that come through them, and they just don't look. It doesn't look like a good way of making energy. What's a good way of making energy? Well, we've been doing coal for a long time now, and even though back in the 70s they said that all the coal and all the oil was supposed to dry up by 2000, we still have tons left. Now, of course, everybody's going to say, oh, we can't do any fracking because that's going to hurt people and it's going to tear. I agree with that. We don't have to. You don't have to go tear down an entire mountain just to be able to get the coal. I understand that. But there's better ways. I know there's better ways. There's got to be better ways. If there's a better way, I'm sure that humans can find it, but they're not, because it's not part of the agenda. The agenda is to tax the people until they can't be taxed anymore, because everybody's supposed to be equal. How do you make people equal? You don't raise them all up to a certain level. You drop them all down to a certain level. How do you drop everybody down to a certain level? Well, it's simple. You make them all poor. You tax the shit out of them. You get them used to that. You get them used to being taxed constantly because they want a slave class. That's what this is all about. It's slave class. They don't want you to own anything. They don't want you to have any way of making yourself better. They want you to be on the bottom. They want you to stay on the bottom. They only need, what did we say the other day? They only need 430 million of us. That means that they need depopulation. You don't get to eat meat because meat is only for the privileged. All the cows have to go away because the cows are killing the environment. So only certain people get to eat the meat. Everybody else has to eat bugs. That's what they get to do. But you don't have to worry about it because you don't get to own anything. You don't get to have a right to say what you get to and what you don't get to have. They just need you to be able to wake up in the morning, to go to work, to make money for them, to go home and act like everything is just fine and hunky-dory. And it's getting to the point to where they don't even need you to do that because now they can just put a sensor on you and all you have to do is just go out and just be able to move your body and you can mine cryptocurrency for them. That's a patent. We talked about this patent before, WO 2020 060606. Everything they talk about matches an agenda. Absolutely matches an agenda. And if you can't see it by now, you're going to be swallowed up by it. If you're not going to fight it, you need to get the hell out of the way. Of course, then again, nobody's really fighting it. Everybody just seems to be enjoying it because I don't see the Patriots. I'm still... All those people that claim that they are ready to fight, ready to go, ready to do whatever, I don't see them. I still haven't seen them yet. Where are you guys at? Are we going to do anything to save anything? We just gonna sit back and watch our children, our grandchildren's future just disappear? Just gonna enslave ourselves, whatever. I don't know. So anyways, now that I've talked for yet another 15 minutes, I said I wasn't going to. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to say other than that. So God bless every one of you. Take care of yourselves. You're letting it all slip away. You're letting it all slip away, and now there's this whole thing. There's this whole thing that you're talking about now where the truth movement may not even be a legitimate thing. It could be something, just another distraction. Unreal. I don't know. There's truth and there are lies. So figure out which one you're going to follow. I will talk to y'all later. God bless you. Take care.